is up, you guys? It is Jessica, doing things differently, and today I have for you a video that I have been contemplating back and forth on what to say, what not to say, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, how do I say it, etc., etc. And I've come up with in my head, there is no good way, there's a respectful way. There is a make sure that you keep anybody's name out of it, make sure that you only speak, make sure I only speak about me, myself, and my struggles, my situations, my experience. And that is the only good way of going about this. So this is not going to be like any of my other videos. This is going to be me speaking from the heart. This is going to be me speaking to you as if you are my best friend and I can talk to you and tell you anything. That's what this is going to be. But in doing so, I need to make sure that I keep people, places, and certain things out of it, because out of respect for other people, there needs to be that boundary, So, where do I start? My name is Jessica. I am 38 years old, and I started YouTube in order to show people what they were getting when they would buy things. Because when I would buy things for myself, they never looked like it. And when they did, I would get so excited, but that was few and far between. I would watch other YouTubers and I'm like, wow, I think I could do that. I think I have a good personality. I think I'm funny sometimes. That was when I had some self-esteem. If you are somebody who struggles with self-esteem issues, or any issues for that matter, if you were somebody who struggles with those issues, I do too. A lot of times I watch YouTube and I'm like, wow, these people have no problems. The problems that they have is, where are they going to go out for dinner? What are they going to eat? It's never real life problems. And while I know they have them, they glamorize YouTube as being something where they have no issues, they have no problems, they have no insecurities, they have nothing wrong. And unfortunately, that's not life. So I like to be as real as I can. And by doing so, I know that that's going to expose a lot of myself. But I'm willing to do that because I hope that it helps somebody out there. I hope that I can help somebody. I just hope that I can. So, that's why I started YouTube. And, my life was difficult, my life was different. It felt like I was doing the right things, but in reality, I think that I made myself believe that. So, let's back up, shall we? I was born to a separated home. My parents were married, but they were already separated, I believe. And my story may not, when I say these things, this is what I remember or what I remember being told. So I could be off a little bit on some of this stuff. However, I believe that they were separated, and so that didn't start off well, I then grew up with my father and my stepmother, who took care of me. I did not see my mother a lot. My biological mother, I didn't see her a lot at all. I barely saw her from my memories. And when I would see her, I remember the excitement I would get when I would see her coming, or when I would know she was coming. And as a parent now, I try to make sure that I don't make the same mistakes that my parents made. And, I don't know if at the time they thought that was the right thing to do, but, keeping me from my parents, unless there was harm by seeing them, which there wasn't, keeping a child from their parent, because you're trying to hurt that other person, hurts your children. And that's not the way to go, you know? I grew up always missing my mom. I grew up missing that bond, missing that parent, missing that person who everybody else seemed to have, you know? Everybody else seemed to have a mom. Everybody else seemed to have that relationship with their mother, and I always wondered why I could not. So that was a bit of a struggle, you know? And then, you know, as I grew up, and, you know, life was already difficult then as is, but in a different way, you know. Life was difficult in the sense that I always felt like I had something missing. There was always a missing factor in my life. And I don't know if it was my mom, or if it was my lifestyle, or if it was something that I don't even know still to this day, but there was always something missing, you know? So, I grew up and we weren't wealthy. We were not wealthy. We were not, you know, we weren't poor, I don't think, but we definitely weren't wealthy. And I do remember, I remember wanting things, but knowing that I couldn't ask for them, because it wasn't, it just wasn't something you did, you know. You didn't ask for stuff like that because that is not what you do, you know. You don't ask beyond your means, and I knew that that was beyond my means, whether it was something big or small. I just knew, you know, because my parents did what they could do, I think. And I do think that they did their best with what they had. And I don't think that they really knew, you know, that we wanted more. I think that they did what they could do. And you know, back then, I say back then as it was like a crazy time, but like back then you just didn't do that, you know. You didn't ask for things like that. You just knew not to, you know. But I remember Christmases, and I remember birthdays, and we got presents. We were fine. You know, we were good. And I remember thinking to myself, I wish I was that popular girl. I wish that I had her life. And, you know, thinking about it now, no, I don't. Because that popular girl, I don't know what she dealt with at home. She could have had a terrible life at home. She could have had such a terrible, terrible life, and she came to school with a smile on her face and hid it all. Because behind that smile is pain. A lot of times. God, do I know. Now I know. So I grew up, and I got married at a very young age, had kids. I was pregnant out of high school. I didn't go to college because I got pregnant with my son. And I was going to give him up for adoption, but I couldn't do it. I wanted more for my son. I didn't want my son wanting. I didn't want him having a parent who struggled to take care of him. And I didn't want him in a family and in a home where his parents didn't love each other. All right. So I couldn't do it. I didn't do it. And I took him home. And I then reconciled with his father, because I thought that was what you do, you know. That's what you do when you're married. So I did that. We ended up having 2 more beautiful children. And I ended up having 3 kids, I believe, before I was 25. Pretty sure. Or at the age of 25. I definitely believe that I had 3 children by then. I was still a little girl up here. Or at least I felt like it. Anyways, I felt like I was still a little girl, wanting something so badly that I would do anything to make it happen. And that was a happy home, a happy family, a happy life. That didn't happen. Me and my ex-husband got divorced, and I fell into a depression. I fell into a loop of woe is me. I fell into I don't even know what you would call it, like a desperation of, why couldn't I make it work? Why did I choose this? Why am I not better? Why am I not good enough? So I I decided that I would turn to something else to relieve that pain. And I might lose a lot of subscribers for this, or I may not, and I don't know. But I'm just trying to show you guys the truth, the truth behind the camera kind of thing. You know, I don't know if people talk about their struggles on YouTube, but the ones that I watch don't. And I hurt just like you hurt. I feel just like you feel. I cry just like you cry and bleed just like you bleed. And, you know, I'm trying to show you and help you understand that. And I'm just trying to be honest, you know. And if my honesty loses subscribers, then I can't change that. In my program, they say you can't worry about the things that you can't control, or you shouldn't worry about the things that you can't control, and I can't control this. There's something in my heart that is telling me to tell you guys this story because I feel like it might be able to help somebody. That's why I'm doing it. I turned to something that numbed me. I turned to something that made me not feel. I turned to something that helped me not think so much. And boy, did that hurt me. Boy, did that hurt me. And you know, thinking about it now, I understand why I did it, you know. I understand that I did it because I didn't want to feel, and I did it because I didn't want to think, and I didn't want to, just didn't want to. But you know what that is? It's a coward. And that's what I was. I was a coward. I did not want to feel a thing. So I numbed the pain. And how stupid. How stupid. So that went on for years. And man, I was in a dark place for a long time. I still maintain a relationship with my children. However, it wasn't a good one. You know, I can sit up here and say I was a good mom. I did what I could, but I didn't. I mean, I did, but I didn't in the same way, you know? I did what I could in the sense of with the means that I had, but those means were because I was self-inflicting pain. I self-inflicted because I didn't like myself. I didn't like what I had become. And even more so because of what I was doing. It took me a lot of years to figure that out. It took a lot of years to figure out that pain that I inflicted on myself was because I didn't like my choices. I didn't like what I had become. And I didn't want to feel the pain that I felt leading up into that point, you know. And all of it wasn't due to me, you know. There were people involved that hurt me as well, and there were people involved that made me feel those ways, you know. It wasn't only me, but yeah. I'm going to then explain to you the relationships that I had that were negative, but I don't want to do that in order because I don't want to put any timeline on the person that I'm talking about, because I don't want anybody to know who it is that I'm talking about. Assumptions are just that, and you can assume that you might know if you know me, you know, when making this video, you can assume that you know who I'm referring to. But if I don't say a name and I don't put a time frame on it or a timeline on it, then that is just an assumption. So moving on, I then decided that I was done. You know, a lot of things had happened in my using that I can never still talk about, you know. A lot of bad things happened to me that I don't think I can even say on YouTube, but if you're thinking it, it probably happened. I was sexually assaulted. I was abused physically, mentally, verbally. But that was my lifestyle. I was homeless. I remember I slept at a park, and I remember waking up throughout the night wondering, is this really my life now? Is this really my life? It's mind-blowing when you actually think about it. And if you've never been homeless and you never slept outside in the weather without anything, you'll never really understand that feeling, but it's a pretty crappy feeling, you know. Self-inflicted. So moving on, I decided that I wanted to get clean, I wanted to get help, and I went to Florida for 6 months. I did a holistic treatment, and it worked. Mind, body, and spirit had been healed in a sense. I talked a lot of things out. I, medically fixed myself by doing the things and taking the steps that I needed to get, good in that aspect. I did everything I should have done, and I came back to a person, and this is why they say, there's a saying in recovery, your first year you should be alone. You should never ever be with anybody within the first year, and there's a reason for that, because you're not right up here still. Even though you might think that you are, you're not. So I came back, and I got into a relationship, and to be completely honest, that relationship was not what I thought it was, and that person was not who I thought that they were, and that's all I'm going to say about that person for now. But I stayed for a very long time, and I ended up falling off. I ended up breaking my family's trust again. I broke my own trust and my children's trust. And I went down that rabbit hole for, I don't remember how long it was, but quite a while, until I decided that enough was enough, when I found out that I was pregnant with my son. Now, I was told after my last one from my previous marriage that I could no longer have any more. So you can imagine my surprise to that. And I couldn't believe it. I was in denial until I was 7 months. Denial, complete denial that I was even pregnant. Well, I ended up going into a treatment center that I owe everything to. They worked with me and they got me okay. Now I got myself okay, because of course you have to have the willingness, and you have to have the desire, and you have to have the will, and you have to know when enough is enough. And I did. I knew that I was good. I was done, and I was ready to be me again. So after leaving that treatment center, I went back with my kid's father, the one I was pregnant with, and he helped me a lot. He helped me get my life on track. And, we had our issues, and I won't ever say that we didn't, but the things that he helped me do, I am forever grateful for him for, because that's just something that I needed then, and he helped me, and that's that. So I am grateful for that. We did not work out, but we wanted to try and make it work for my son, and it just couldn't work. And I ended up leaving that household, and I was with the person that I was recently with now, or, well, not now technically, but the person that I just recently moved in with, and we got a beautiful home. Everything was wonderful. I felt like I finally made it. But that didn't work out either. And I won't say anything negative about anybody in this timeline specifically, but I will say we just didn't work out. We did try, Maybe I didn't try 100%. Maybe he didn't try 100%, but the bottom line is it didn't work. And I left. And now I am struggling. I am struggling very, very hard to get back up on my feet. And that is why I have not made a video recently. On top of being sick, on top of work, on top of trying to figure out where to go from here. And I'm not happy right now. I pretend to be, I try to be, that saying, fake it till you make it. But, I'm not always happy. Now I have good days. Of course, I have good days. I have bad days. And, that's how it will be. But what I will say is that I have 8 years of being me again, of being clean, sober. I have 8 years of getting my life back. And I won't allow anything to hinder that, Now, a few things that have happened in my relationships previously that have made me the person who I am today because of the traumatic things that have happened, I have been spoken to in ways that I shouldn't have tolerated. I have been abused in ways that nobody should tolerate. I have been in relationships where I have been complete no woman or man should ever have to go through those things. And I have. And this isn't to say, like, oh, poor me. This is to say to you that you don't have to deal with it. There is a way out. Family and friends, even if you don't have them, there's still a way out. There's still light at the end of the tunnel, and I know how shitty that sounds right now if you're going through this anything remotely close to what I have been through. Or worse. Because I know I didn't have it the worst it could be. I know that there's worse out there. But the fact is that if you've gone through any of these things, I want you to know that there is a way out. It might not be fun. It's not going to be easy. But look what you've dealt with. Look at all the things. Think of all the negative things that you've been through. Now think about it when all those things are done and you don't have to deal with them anymore. Think about the happiness that you could possibly have if you walk away. I have walked away from so many things, but I let it get to a point where I shouldn't have. I refuse to do that anymore. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that you don't have to feel alone. If any of you are going through anything negative in your life, even if it's not being beat or abused or, or thinking that you might use, even if it's something that's smaller than that or bigger than that, please reach out. I will answer you. I will respond. And I will talk to you. And I will try to walk you through whatever you need. Because when you're in that situation, it sucks. And that's an understatement. So, we've all been lied to. We've all been fed a story or a dream of yours that they feel is going to make you happy. And then you realize that that dream is not happening. You realize that that dream is still a dream because you're living in the present, and that present sucks. No, you're not alone. Okay? And there's other people out there, and you just have to find them. And you have to talk about it. Because if you don't, it will eat you up inside. Okay. So this video wasn't very easy to make, and I'm sure I left a lot out. But I will say this. I have a good relationship with my children now. Better than ever. I have relationships with my family members that I didn't even think that I would ever talk to again. I have people that are there for me, and I never thought that I would have that, you know? And it's weird because when you have family, you kind of like automatically think that they're going to be there, but they don't have to be. And they can walk away. They can. And some might. But no, if you're doing what you need to do to make your life good, that's all that matters. So, on a brighter note, I am going to be okay. I just have to find my light. Breakups are hard. Especially when you feel like you're going to spend the rest of your life with that person. And then you realize you're not. Message me on Facebook if you need help. If you need to talk. I've been through a lot. And I hope this explains a lot coming from me. And if you have any questions or want a follow-up video, please leave them down below, and I will gather up the questions and do a follow-up video. That is definitely something I would be interested in doing. I would love to do a follow-up video and answer the questions, because I'm sure you might have some. I know that I haven't explained everything, and I know that I left a lot out, but some of it had to be left out in order to protect the privacy of others. All right, you guys. So if you have any questions, please leave them down below so that I can do a follow-up video to this. If you guys have not yet subscribed, please consider doing so. Make sure you hit that notification bell for every time I upload another video. And until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Bye!